less than 5% of Americans are getting the help that they really need, and they have no clue. So this show is about solving that problem. At the end of this show, we're going to give people the way to get to the cream of the crop. It's the best document that we give for free. It's a tool that we have sent out thousands of copies. It's awesome. It's how to find the cream of the crop when you're dealing with an advisor. I think it's important for not only retirees to be doing this, maybe even more importantly, because if you're 85, okay, you've been going down the road this long, there's not much you can do. But if you're 55, if you're 60, this is probably just as important for those people, I think, as the people who are retired.
Retirement for life. Your passport to a comfortable and confident retirement. The podcast that's equal parts education and entertainment, where we break down the retirement maze with a dash of fun and a heap of wisdom from your host, Christian Sear CPA, the passionate retirement specialist and president of Sear Financial Wealth Advisors, the independent registered investment advisor specializing in the AIM retirement system.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Sear, CPA, your partner in retirement, your partner for life. This is the Retirement for Life podcast. I'm just so excited to be here today because this show is for, as always, retirees and soon-to-be retirees who have done a good job saving their money. Our promise on every show since episode 1 is to educate, give people solutions, help them in retirement, but most importantly, and I think where we stand out, is that we are not going to put people to sleep, right? It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time doing that, and that's going to be every show. I think you can find us most easily on retirementforlife.com. If you're listening to the show, that's great. Give us a follow, rate us, give us 5 stars, not 1 star. But the best way to take this in, because we have a lot of great graphics, is to actually watch it. And on our YouTube channel, that's the way to take this podcast in because the visuals are so much better than just listening to it.
Yep, that's rflshow.com.
rflshow.com, and Brooke, it goes right to our podcast. You can watch us. We have 2 good-looking people and 1 not so attractive person, and you can figure that out when you watch the show.
Who's who, yeah.
See, that's an incentive right there to watch the show instead of listen. But anyway, like I said, I promise to make this show interesting and fun. So it is about retirement. It is going to help people in retirement. And I can't wait to get to today's show. But before we do, let's say hi to my good friends, Andrea and Austin. How you guys doing?
Good.
Really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Our main offices are here in central Illinois.
Yep.
And it is snowing this morning.
It is definitely. It's been an eventful morning for me, myself.
Why?
I had a ton of snow on my driveway, and right at the end of it, dips right down before the road and it comes back up. So the plow hit the road this morning and just covered the end of my driveway. So I'm out there this morning for about 45 minutes, an hour, shoveling and shoveling and shoveling. So I had a good sweat going, which was nice.
Gotta work out before
a good
work.
workout, yeah.
Brooke, did he make it into work on time?
Yeah, he was on time.
Okay.
Yeah, sweaty, but on time.
Well, yeah.
Good
Hopefully not
exercise.
smelling, yeah.
Good exercise?
Yeah.
Well, that's funny because I had a little issue of my own this morning, so I text the group. We're going to be a little bit late. And what's Andrea come back and say?
I was clearing my driveway.
Okay, but there's like an inch of snow on the ground.
It's heavy snow.
It is heavy.
It was heavy.
And as a side note, I got a new couch, and my old couch is in my garage waiting for someone to pick it up. So I'm not parking in my garage right now. So that's kind of a pain when it's snowing.
Oh my God. You know, you're a bold person. You've done a lot of things in your life, but it's like you're just at one flake of snow, you freak out.
I despise the winter. I despise it.
Same.
Yeah, but you have a big truck, Brooke. You can get right through though.
Yeah, true. I have no
All right, let's get to business here. I want to talk about this topic today, and I have a friend. His name is Anton, and every time a song comes on the radio, he says, "This is my favorite song." Do you know what I'm talking about, Brooke?
Yeah, I do. I do.
It's annoying, and everyone makes a joke about it. It's like not every song can be your favorite song. But we are only 3 episodes in, and I swear I've said this every show so far. this is by far one of my favorite topics. It is one of the most important topics.
Definitely.
It is about how to choose an advisor. And the way we have learned this over the last 2 decades is by learning what not to do and how to do things the right way.
Yeah.
And sometimes doing things the right way is not the easy way, right? We've done a lot of things. We just talked about yesterday at our annual planning meeting, right? We said we've got a lot of people running around here because we're doing a lot of stuff for our clients.
Yeah.
And we've learned that. But along the way, as we've gotten these things in our AIM retirement system, that system is awesome, but it does a lot. I mean, there's 25 things we're doing in that system.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts, so you need a lot of people. But along the way, you learn that most advisors are not doing hardly any of that. And so this show is about how to choose the right advisor, and we're going to get into it. I do believe that most of Americans, I said this on podcast 1, I'll stick to it. I'll put my name to it. Less than 5% of Americans are getting the help that they really need, and they have no clue. So this show is about solving that problem. At the end of this show, we're going to give people the way to get to the cream of the crop. It's the best document that we give for free. It's a tool that we have sent out thousands of copies. It's awesome. It's how to find the cream of the crop when you're dealing with an advisor. I think it's important for not only retirees to be doing this, maybe even more importantly, because if you're 85, okay, you've been going down the road this long, there's not much you can do. But if you're 55, if you're 60, this is probably just as important for those people, I think, as the people who are retired. So anyway, Brandon, do you think, am I wrong? Is this an important topic?
It's very important. I mean, it's important to have an advisor, but more important is have the right advisor.
It's important. It's the single most important decision that a retiree will make. You know, it's I think the single biggest decision. And the thing about it is, and I think I'll talk about this more later, Americans understand a lot of things. They don't understand this. It's like they think they have Tom Brady. And who's the quarterback for the Colts?
Gardner Minshew.
He's terrible.
Yeah.
He's got a mustache problem. But literally, people think they have Tom Brady, but they have no clue that they actually have Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
You're a terrible quarterback who didn't make the Colts go to the playoffs.
That's true.
This is going to be tackled in 2 ways, okay? First of all, a large majority of Americans, affluent Americans, are not using an advisor. More than half. That is mistake number 1, okay? And we'll talk about that. And we'll tackle it from that side. But then those who decide they want to use a financial advisor, it gets complicated, right? It's not as easy as just saying, let me just check a box and find the right advisor for me. No, there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
And so the tool that we're going to share with them that I've talked about is this questions to ask a financial advisor. That is going to be the best tool we have, and we're going to share that with you later in the podcast. So, and then Austin, we got the guest and number game today. What's that about?
Really excited. So we're going to step back, look big picture, the United States. We're going to go how many advisors are within the United States, and then we'll look at the breakdown of those.
Do you think you know the answer to that?
Maybe a ballpark idea?
I think you cheated.
Nope.
I think Austin gave you the answer.
Nope.
I would never.
I don't believe it. I'm going to talk about what's on my mind later after we tackle that issue, and we'll be right back. All right. So before we talk about why people don't have an advisor, let's tell a story. Everything goes better with a story. And we bumped our heads together yesterday.
Yep.
And we've dealt with thousands of people. And there's a lot of stories about people who have walked in and didn't have an advisor. And after the fact, they, obviously they benefited from having good advice. But one person in particular that we thought of, is she a widow or divorced?
She's a widow.
Okay, she walks into her office, and how old do you think she was when she walked in, if you had to guess?
About 70.
Okay. And what I remember about her is that she had a binder that was like 4 inches thick.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Every statement.
Yeah. I think it was a nice day, but what else was weird about her?
Well, she's a dog person, so
Just
brought
like
her,
you.
She brought her dog in with her. Yeah.
Do you remember when we used to have an employee who wanted to bring a dog into work?
Yeah, office dog, I believe it was called.
Actually, Brooke brought her dog in twice.
Yeah,
That was during COVID. It doesn't count.
That was terrible.
he ruined Jamie's carpet.
Yeah.
no.
She brings a pit bull into the office. That was a big mistake.
Oh, he's a lover.
George is a sweetheart.
Yeah. You would say that because you're a dog
know
lover.
it.
Anyway, so this lady comes in. She's frazzled. She doesn't know what's going on. And she's been losing money and she doesn't know why. And she's 70 and she has an advisor.
Yeah.
And we open up the 4-inch binder and what do we find?
Well, we're reviewing her statements as we always do, look at what their holdings are, and she's just invested like she's 40.
The lady's in these huge technology funds. She has no risk prevention.
Yeah.
She has no guaranteed income.
Right.
She's got her Social Security check, and her portfolio is just dropping like a rock. And it's a good example of people think they have Tom Brady, but they don't.
Right.
And she just didn't know. And I think most people are like that. She's been a client for how long has she been a client?
I think close to 10 years probably.
Yeah, I mean, corrected the portfolio, put her through the AIM retirement system, looked at her taxes, adjusted her Social Security. We did POAs for her, power of attorneys,
Yep.
ran her through the entire AIM retirement system. And that is symbolic of Americans across the country. So check out this graphic. There's a lot of different information out there, and there's a lot of different numbers, but the one that I follow is Cerulli. To get this report, you have to pay $25,000. I did not pay $25,000 for this. Brooke is in charge of the budget. Brooke, you'd be happy to know I did not pay for it. But it's amazing to me. What percent, for those people who don't see the screen and are listening, Austin, what percent of affluent, first of all, what's considered to be an affluent American, Miss Brannon?
Those with 100,000 or more.
Okay. So these are the people we're talking to, at least $100,000 of investable assets. They are using an advisor or not using an advisor. And Austin, what's the number on the screen?
57% of them are
More
not
than-
using.
More than half are not using a financial advisor. So if people don't know this stuff, why aren't they using an advisor? Let's be honest. Are advisors free?
Right. They're not
No.
free.
No. But typically, a fiduciary is charging like 0.25% every quarter.
Yeah.
So in the scheme of things, to have peace of mind, to have somebody who is giving you a confident and successful retirement, the cost is extremely reasonable. And so there is a cost to it. I think that might be one of the barriers. But I think a bigger barrier is it's hard for people to walk into an office and say, I need help, right? I always said it's hard for a man to ask for directions, right? But it makes sense. Most recently, you guys know, my wife and I, we went to Mayo Clinic. They have what's called the Executive Health Program. For 3 days, I had over 20 appointments. You're going here, they're taking blood. You're going here, they're giving you a test. You go in saying, look, I'm 50 years old, going to be 51 in a couple days. Do I feel great? Yes. Do I think I'm in great shape? Yeah, maybe.
Sort of.
I just saw Brooke laughing at that. But look, I went there because I raised my hand, and I said, look, I would like to know. I'm not an expert in the health field. I'm not a medical expert. Check me out. Tell me, is there something I could be doing better? And that's the big thing. Okay, you've got something going. You think you're okay. You're living day to day. You're retired. You think everything's okay, but what if you could be doing something more?
Right.
I went into the clinic with 5 specific things that I wanted them to check out. And thank God, all 5 of those things, you're great. I'm like, Oh, that's great. I am doing things the right way. Well, no, you're not, because there's a sixth thing you have to deal with. I'm like, I didn't even know about it. And how many times has somebody walked into our office, they become a client, they go through the AIM retirement system, and what do they say?
They say they just didn't know.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened to me at Mayo's.
Yeah.
I thought everything was good. And that's typically when they go through the AIM retirement system, they're finding 3 specific things that when you stop doing this and start doing that, it improves the chances of retirement success.
Right.
I think about my dad and the millions of Americans in 2008 that lost, in some cases, half of their portfolio. I think about the retirees who are getting ready to retire and all of a sudden put retirement on hold. And if you lost 40% of your portfolio, now paying 25 basis points, 1/4% every quarter, now they're saying, man, I wish I would have done that.
Yeah,
Right?
to have someone paying attention.
And so for me, that is the key. I just don't understand why any affluent American is not using an advisor. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I think everyone should go to the Mayo Clinic and get checked out. Or it doesn't have to be the Mayo Clinic, but get that full body scan. Why wouldn't you? My best friend said to me, I don't want to go because I'm afraid they're going to tell me something's wrong with me.
Well, it doesn't mean there's not
wrong
still
either
something
way.
wrong. Yeah.
He's 42 years old. It's like, you're 42 years old. If something's wrong with you, you're in a great position to improve yourself, and you don't know. You just don't know. It's your life. You have one life and you have one retirement. So why wouldn't you get it checked out by a professional? It's daunting to me. So if you look at this, the second study that I pull up is 10,000 Americans. Half of them are using an advisor, and the other half are not using an advisor. I pulled out 2 specific bullet points from this. Number 1, those who are using an advisor, Austin, what percent of them feel they have achieved long-term security in their retirement?
75%.
Okay. So the majority of people working with an advisor say, good.
Yeah.
I feel good. What percent who are not working advisor feel that way?
Less than half.
Yeah.
Less than half. So it's like right there. The proof is in the pudding. I feel better about my health because I went to see a professional. I feel more in control. I've made some adjustments to tackle that one thing. And so, yeah. But the second graphic, and I said it earlier, I think it's important. The people that are still working, the people that are 35 probably honestly don't need an advisor. What should they be doing, would you say?
If they don't need an advisor?
If they're 35 years old, they don't need an advisor. What do you think what would you advise your daughter to do?
They just need to participate in their work plan.
Yeah.
Save money.
Yeah.
Save 10% of what you have, put it into the target date fund. If you save 10% of everything you have since the day you started working,
The earlier you start, the better.
right? There's 2 types of people that walk into the office. Type number 1 is what?
Those that started saving.
Been saying,
And we say, congratulations, you're ready to retire.
Yeah.
And then you got those people who are 65 years old who walk into the office and they announce that they're retiring in a month. And
And they don't have
not
a
feasible.
plan. And
yeah.
but that's for 35-year-old people. The people who are 60 years old, the people who are 58 years old, the people who are 62 years old, we talked about it in episode 2. The 401k is literally your ticking time bomb if you're nearing retirement.
Yeah.
And if you didn't listen to that show, if you didn't watch that show, go watch it, because if you're sitting there with most of your life savings in a 401k, you're 60 years old, you're in for a rude awakening, potentially. And there's things you can do for that. But those people that are in that position, a 62-year-old getting ready to retire in 2 or 3 years, they are going to see an advisor, and the exact same thing. Those that are going to see an advisor are taking steps to take control of their retirement.
Yep.
They are confident. The study shows it right there. The ones that don't are like my dad, and they wind up potentially having a big problem. So the reasons to see a professional are are big, I think. Hey, everybody, are you enjoying this video? If you are, give us a thumbs up. Do you want to stay on top of the content? Then subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching. Hey, everyone, did you know that the majority of us don't understand this finance retirement stuff? Do you realize that the average retiree does not have a financial advisor? I believe one of the biggest reasons why is because when we walk into that financial advisor's office or we pick up the phone and call that financial advisor, we just don't even know what to say. There are 350,000 financial advisors in the United States, and frankly, only a handful of them are really acting in your best interests and able to help you with a confident and comprehensive retirement. So how are you supposed to find out of 350,000 advisors the one that's right for you? About 12 years ago, I started working on the 5 topics to discuss with your financial advisor. It started out as a 3-page document, and today it is now up to 14 pages. It is, in my opinion, the best document in the industry, and why every retiree doesn't have this tool in their hand to discuss with a potential advisor or with their current advisor, giving the tools to know what to ask and giving you the answers of what you should be hearing back. This tool, in my opinion, is one of the best in the industry, and we give it away free. We have always given away free. The best way to get a hold of it is go to 5toask.com. That's the number 5, TOASK, the number 5, toask.com. 5toask.com. You give me your name and your email, and I will email this to you. It is by far the best tool that you need to arm yourself with the questions that you need to ask. 5toask.com and get the 5 topics to discuss with your financial advisor today. So I think at this point, it's important to say one of the best features of Retirement for Life, this show. Episode 1, I talked about it. Why are we doing this? We had this epiphany where we wanted to help people. Mm-hmm. What's my goal? What's my number one goal in this podcast? Brooke, do you remember?
1 million raving fans and followers.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Yep.
If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. My goal is 1 million subscribers, and that's the only way this great information that's educational, provides awesome solutions. Like what we're going to give out today is, I think, the best thing you can give somebody who's going to retire or who is retired. The whole goal of this show is to give great information. And how are we able to do that? If somebody says, I like this channel, then YouTube, the algorithm, will say, hey, maybe another 65-year-old person in Arkansas would also benefit from this. So that's my goal, to get 1 million subscribers. But in the spirit of giving, in the spirit of just doing this out of the goodness of our hearts, and truly just giving great content and great information, I thought there's probably a lot of people who watch, listen, or have a situation in their retirement planning or lack thereof planning that they want something. They want a question answered. They have a specific thing. And we have gone out of our way to make it as easy as possible for people to ask a question, and make it as the least amount of intimidation as possible. So I want people to ask us a question. I want people to dial in and ask a question that we can put on our show. Episode 1, we had a question. Episode 2, we had a question. Today, we don't have a question of the day, because nobody dialed in and asked us a question. So we don't have a question. So do us a favor, ask any question you want. So Austin, what's the best way to ask a question to get it on the Retirement for Life show?
I absolutely love this tool we have. Just go to retirementforlife.com, and there's going to be a little microphone. You just push and leave your question there, and it sends it to us.
It's like so non-committal. It's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Like you just go to your phone, you press a button, and you ask a question.
Seconds of your time.
Yeah. And that's on retirementforlife.com. That's our website page or our podcast page. Go there. But some people maybe don't want to do that.
Yeah, if they want to just give us a call, they can call 877-80-RETIRE and ask a question that way too.
Who are they going to talk to?
Well, they could talk to me if they want.
Who else might they talk to?
Talk to me, you, Kayla, another specialist in the office.
You don't know who you're going to get. You might get Ian. You might get Brooke. You might get Jamie. You might get Kristen. You're going to talk to a retirement specialist.
Yep.
It's just call up and ask a question. We've got answers. We've been doing this for a long time. And I also set something up because I found that I love talking to people about this stuff. This topic, retirement, let's be honest, it's sad but true. It's my life. Let's be honest, okay? I saw that show or that video I showed you guys yesterday. Chicago Bears coach, Matt Eberflus. He gets done with the game, and I'm sure all NFL coaches are like this. They watch the game like 5 more times. That's what I do. On my weekends, I sit there and I read retirement material. I watch retirement podcasts, and I want to talk about this stuff all the time. My favorite thing to do is when somebody signs up at retire15.com.
Yep.
I get all sorts of calls. Most recently, somebody went to retire15.com, scheduled a 15-minute phone call with me. We were talking about her specific retirement situation, and we ended up talking for 45 minutes. That's, I think, personally, that would be what I would do. I want to talk to the bald guy. I want to talk to Chris. I want to talk to the retirement for life guy, and you can do that. I will take anybody's call, schedule 15 minutes. You go to retire15.com, you get Chris's calendar, you sign up for a 15-minute appointment, and it's just that easy. So, ask us a question. There's a lot of good ways to do it. All we want to do is give great answers and great feedback. I mean, we have a lot of great information to share. With that, let's go to the Guess the Number game, Austin.
Guess the Number game.
Okay, so the Guess the Number game today is about how many advisors there are in America. I'll let Austin get to that in a second. But the reason we chose this today is because advisors come. It's like, do you remember when I was a kid, they had Baskin-Robbins. It used to be called Baskin-Robbins 31 flavors. Brooke, do you remember that?
No. Mm-mm.
I do. I'm not that much younger than you.
No. I mean, it was exciting because Dad would take us to Baskin-Robbins 31 flavors. That was literally the name of the company. And there was like 31 buckets of ice cream and a lot of different flavors. And that's the way advisors are. But it's not ice cream. I'm picking out Rocky Road. I know exactly what I'm going to get. I walk into a financial advisor's office. I'm a typical American. I have no clue. And, it's something we just don't know. Do you remember when we used to do seminars, the way I would explain this to people is, and Austin, you never saw this, I don't think. So I would show 3 advisors, pictures of advisors on the screen, okay? One was an insurance salesman who worked for a financial company. One was a commission-based broker selling stuff with the biggest commissions. And one was a fiduciary level 5 advisor. And we'll talk about level 5 later. 3 pictures, and I didn't put their names on it. It wasn't about talking bad about those people. But I had those 3 pictures up. But before I showed those 3 pictures, I would show a Toyota salesman. On his shirt, it said Toyota. Behind him, it would say, Toyota dealership. Then I would put another picture of a Ford guy with the Ford shirt on, and he was at a Ford dealership. And I'd put a Dodge guy, okay? And I would say to the whole audience, I'd point to the Toyota guy. If you walk into that guy's place of business and you buy a car, and pretend you're in the audience, okay? Mm-hmm. What type of car is the Toyota salesman going to sell you? Is he going to sell you a Ford? What's he going to sell you?
I'm thinking a Toyota Prius.
He's going to sell you a Toyota.
Specifically,
right?
Toyota
It says
Prius,
Toyota,
yeah.
and we know this. But then I'd show these 3 advisors. One's this guy, one's this guy, and one's this guy. And they have no clue, right? Which one of these guys is going to give you good advice? And they don't know, right? And so I would cover all of their faces with 3 squirrels. And I would say, tell me, one of these squirrels is a female squirrel. Which one is it? Nobody knows.
Nope.
You can't tell. I mean, most humans don't look at a squirrel and go, oh, that's a male. I think my son would.
Yeah.
Because he's like a big hunter. But, as Americans, we just don't know this stuff. And I think it's important to say that there's no rules about you having to deal with a fiduciary advisor. There should be, but there's not.
Right.
I think the worst story was my dad's next door neighbor. Everyone in the neighborhood was going to the same advisor because, that's what people do. They don't use the right information to pick an advisor. Who they ask?
They ask
Their
their friends,
neighbor-
their
yeah, their
neighbors,
neighbors.
their family.
Hey, who are you using? I'm like, I'm using the guy down the street. Well, guess what? That advisor, turns out, he had a lot of complaints against him. He was using these mutual funds. Some of them, they were all high commission, and he had so many complaints, he basically went out of business. And everyone in the neighborhood's like, well, I didn't know. Well, nobody really did their own homework. It's kind of like, imagine your entire life, all you know is instant coffee. Okay? Caffeine, instant coffee. I like instant coffee. And, the neighbor comes up to you, what kind of coffee do you drink? I drink instant coffee. But they have no idea that you can get this delicious gourmet coffee. You can get the whole beans. You can, chop them up like your husband
I
does.
was going to say that's what we do.
Yeah. It's like just people don't have a clue. So anyway, let's get to it. So Austin, what's the question? What's the guess the number game today?
So the guess the number game is how many advisors are in the United States? Just ballpark guess.
Ballpark guess would be around 500,000.
It's just above 700,000.
Wow.
It's like 700. Yeah.
Wow.
That was from the Investment Advisor Industry Snapshot of 2023, which is put out by the Investment Advisor Association. I have talked a lot about level 5 advisors, and I'm just going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
When I'm in a seminar and I say level 5 advisor, I remember people ask, like, how do you find out? What's a level 5 advisor? And I say, it's not really a thing, is it?
No, it's not really a thing. It's more the service that you get with that person.
I came up with this a long time ago, the concept of a level 5 advisor. And this is all in the document, 5 topics to discuss with your advisor. So basically, the document is 14 pages. And as you're asking questions of the advisor, you're educated. Now you know that there's more to life than instant coffee. Now you know what questions to ask, what origin, where did these coffee beans come from? It's the same thing with the level 5 advisor. So if you take a look at this, Austin just told us there's over 700,000 advisors in the United States of America. That is true. But to be fair, not all advisors work with individuals. So a level 1 advisor, there's over 600,000, over 500,000 advisors out there are basically putting themselves out there and saying, I'm an advisor. Okay. Mm-hmm. So level 1 advisor is doing just what that guy, what did he used to do? He used to sell
Timeshares
He used to sell timeshares.
and then cars.
He wasn't making enough money.
Mm-hmm.
He calls his brother up in Texas, and his Texas brother goes, hey, you should sell basically investments. You can make more commissions.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing this now for 7 years. He's a level 1 advisor, okay? People walk into his office, they have no idea. They're like, okay. Yeah, they have no clue. Another group in level 1 would be these financial companies, which are basically just masked as an insurance company, right? You walk into their office, they're going to sell you a bunch of insurance. That's all they can do.
Yep.
They're not licensed to do investments, they're just insurance. So level 2 advisor, there's about 287,000 of them. They're acting in a fiduciary capacity in some form or fashion. So, Andrea, how would you define a fiduciary?
A fiduciary is someone who legally has to do what's in your best interest.
Mm-hmm. And that definition, when I tell people what a fiduciary is, that they have to do by law what's best for you. One thing they're not doing then is charging you commissions. One thing they have to do is keep track of your personal situation. How are you doing? Did you get sick? Did you win the lottery? Is your husband still around? Is your pension still good? Is your Social Security check coming on time?
Right.
Is your power of attorney document updated? All these things. A fiduciary has to not sell you something to make commission, has to provide a service for a fee. That sounds like, to me, don't you think that should be the law?
Yeah, well,
Seems like it. Yeah.
I come
Tried
to
to
you
do that.
with my life savings, $800,000, and you would just expect that in the best country in the world that you would walk into a financial advisor's office and you would expect that by law they have to do what's best for you. And you're right. They tried to do that, didn't they?
Yep.
Obama tried. Obama tried in 2016. He said, look, I think everyone should be a fiduciary. And it never came to fruition. So you, as a retiree, soon to be retired, a person who has saved up a lot of money, it is on you to figure out who is a fiduciary. And I say in that document, that 5 to Ask document, I say if there's only one question in the world that you can ask an advisor, it is the fiduciary question.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is not just because an advisor says they're fiduciary doesn't mean they're 100% fiduciary. So one of the questions in that document is, okay, you say you're a fiduciary. Well, of all the assets you manage, how much are actually managed in a fiduciary fashion? I remember I went to lunch 12 years ago with an advisor, and it was in a town down the road, and you know who I'm talking about. And we had lunch, and I was just asking him, just some basic questions, like, how do you do your business? And like, if somebody asked me, how do we run our business? I think, how would you say, if somebody came up to you and said, how do we run Sear Financial? What would you say?
Well, we try to do what's in everyone's best interest.
I would say we've got the AIM retirement system, and that's what we do. And then I would start talking about how awesome the AIM retirement system is. So I'm asking him the question, like, I'm thinking, well, what do you do for your clients? You know what his answer was? It had nothing to do with his clients. His answer was, as we were eating a strawberry chicken salad, he goes, well, what I do is I put half of the investments in a fiduciary account so I can get this, and I put the other half in a commission account so I can get a big chunk up front. First of all, that's not being a fiduciary, right?
No.
It's like saying I don't drink alcohol, but I drink alcohol Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Either you do or you don't,
Right.
okay? Either you're fiduciary or you're not fiduciary. So that level 2, I think a lot of them aren't actually completely fiduciaries, but anyway, level 2 advisor at least is acting in a fiduciary capacity at some point. When you have this document, 5 topics to discuss with your advisor, now you've whittled the world down from 700,000 down to 280,000. But I want to say something about investments. I've said this before. I've been on record as saying this. Investments by themselves. People associate retirement with making money. Like, I'm making money. Retirement is about a financial advisor making money. What are investments? What do I say are investments?
They're a commodity.
They're a damn commodity. I said it on the last podcast. Stocks go up every 8 out of 10 years. And what's the other half of a retiree's portfolio?
Bonds.
Yep.
They go up 9.5 out of 10 years.
So making money is literally, there's no magic to it. And if you think as a retiree, and 9 out of 10 retirees, you ask, how's your financial guy? Oh, he's doing good. He's making me money. Well, guess what? So is the rest of the world making money, because that's what markets do. They go up. The thing is not the investments. There are 3 or 4 key things that a level 5 advisor will do for you that will dramatically increase the chances of retirement success. We see it every day.
Yep.
It's not about, oh, you should have a little bit more Bitcoin. It's not, oh, you should have a little bit less gold. It's not, you should have this great investment. That does not move the needle on retirement success. Going from portfolio A to portfolio B does like this. We've seen it.
Yep.
There's these other things that we use in the AIM retirement system. That's what jacks up the chances of retirement success.
Absolutely.
And so incorporating something else besides investments, a little bit of financial planning. So we have this documentation that about 146,000 advisors in the United States are at least using, in addition to the investments, they're giving you some form of planning. It is remarkable to me how many people I talk to. I say, you're retired. Yes. You have an advisor? Yes. What did you do for Social Security strategy? I just took it when I retired. Well, that's usually what?
It's usually wrong.
It's usually wrong. I ask a person, who's looking at your taxes? I do it at H&R Block down the street.
Or they do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
How does your advisor? Yeah, they do it themselves.
Mhm.
So your advisor doesn't? No, we don't talk about taxes. My advisor. How about like this thing called mailbox money? What's that? Well, that's that thing where it guarantees that you get money in your mailbox once a month for the rest of your life. We don't talk about that. And it's amazing to me that people are retired, they have an advisor, and they haven't talked about the most important things. So that brings up level 4. So we are able to count the number of advisors in the United States who are doing what I would call holistic or complex financial planning. And that definition in this study that we've pulled up is that they are doing at least 10 other things for their retirees besides the commodity-based investing. If you just want investments, you actually shouldn't go to an advisor. What should you do?
Online, create your own account.
Go to Vanguard.com, open up an account. You're going to have the same exact experience as you're going to have at any advisor in the United States of America. The investments are the investments. People say, I don't know investments. Well, guess what? Every advisor is basically doing the same thing. And if that's all you want from an advisor, you don't need an advisor.
Right.
So that's what I would call a level 4 advisor. They're doing what is best for the client. They are completely a fiduciary. They have to, by law, do what's best for their clients. Yep. They are not just doing like a little, everyone says they're doing a little plan. They are actually doing complex, holistic financial retirement planning, and that's what it's about. So let's talk about a level 5 advisor. So the level 5 advisor is very simply all the things we just talked about. But I think it's amazing to me that the person, your financial advisor, that is managing your entire nest egg in retirement, when you ask them a question about your taxes, and let's talk about taxes. Average portfolio for a retiree makes how much?
Average portfolio, 10%?
Maybe. Yeah. I would say less. What would you say, Austin?
4.
Yeah, let's go in the middle.
4.
I would say if you're in a 50-50 portfolio, you're probably going to make about 6 or 7% per year. Okay. What do you think the top tax rate is? I don't know off the top of my head, but
top tax rate, 32.
It's like after you add in state, you add in the Obamacare tax, self-employment tax, all this stuff. Top tax rate can be as high as 43%. So what's more important, making 6% in your portfolio or maybe saving up to 43%? Mm-hmm. Taxes are a critical part of retirement, and those are one of the things that move the needle. So I just think it's amazing that the majority of advisors in America, when you ask them a question about taxes, what do they say?
Go talk to your CPA.
Mm-hmm. Go talk to your tax advisor. Mm-hmm.
Which we just said most people don't have. They're doing their own, or they're going to H&R Block.
So a level 5 advisor, and if you look at the aimretire.com, there is a lot of words in there. But one of the big things is a financial advisor that does taxes, that is literally walking you through your tax strategy, because the two go hand in hand. So that's what a level 5 advisor is. And there's not a lot of them. But the important point is to really arm yourself with the right information. So, Brooke, where do they go to get the free copy of 5 to Ask, the topics to ask their financial advisor, so they can find a level 4 or level 5 advisor?
Yeah, just go to 5toask.com. It'll ask you to enter your name and the email that you wish to receive the document, and then, we'll send it right to you.
14 pages of the best stuff in the industry.
Yeah.
Free. It's us giving everything. It's like the man behind the curtain, right? We talked about the Wizard of Oz. Like, here are the answers you need to know, and America just doesn't know. It's free. You have it, and
Yeah, you're walking into whatever advisor you want to. You should be interviewing them, so it gives you what questions to ask.
What I like about that document, we talked about being a fiduciary, and it really dives deep in, should you be asking about fees? If they're a fiduciary, are they charging based under assets under management? Are they getting a commission?
Right there, how to have a discussion with an advisor about fees. And it is 14 pages. But look, you need all the tools. You can't fit it all on one page. It is a free document. It's the best document we have. Okay, that's all for today's show. Guys, it was a really good show. Austin, any thoughts about the show? Anything you want to add to it before I cut you off?
No, I think, again, reiterating that having a long-term perspective in your investments, knowing that that's only a portion of your retirement journey. And yeah, having that long-term perspective is definitely crucial.
Brandon, what do you want to say about today's show?
I would say people need to go to 5toask.com and get those questions to ask your
Best
advisor.
tool out there. It's free. It is 14 pages of awesomeness. Arm yourself with the questions you need to ask your advisor. Educate yourself. It is free. 5toask.com. If you like the show, do us a favor. We're here working hard, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Tell a friend about this show because we put a lot of heart and soul into each and every episode.
And if you're listening on our YouTube channel, subscribe. There's a bell notification.
Subscribe.
Like us there too as well so you don't miss any of our new content.
Chris, your partner in retirement, your partner for life wants 1 million YouTube subscribers. Do it.
Raving fans is what you want.
Raving fan.
And I would say also go to your favorite podcast platform and follow and give us a rate.
Give me a 5-star rate.
5 stars.
Not a 2-star rate. Give me a 5-star. We're working hard here. All right, that's it for the Retirement for Life show, guys. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Investment advisory services provided by Sear Financial, Inc., SEC registered investment advisor. All content on this podcast is for information purposes only and should not be considered investment, legal, or tax advice. Material presented is believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations are made by our firm as to another party's informational accuracy or completeness.